Everyone thought they knew her. The soft voice, the calm smile, the woman who never caused drama. For decades, Crystal Gayle looked like the safest star in country music. No scandals, no chaos, no headlines. But that image was only half the story, because while the world saw Grace, she was hiding something for nearly 30 years. A private life, a silent struggle, and a truth she never spoke about. This is not the story you think you know. And once you hear what she lived through, you'll never hear her voice the same way again. But to understand the secret she carried, you have to go back to where it all began. Crystal Gayle didn't grow up dreaming of fame. She grew up learning how to survive. Born as Brenda Gayle Webb in rural Kentucky, she was the youngest of 8 children in a house where food was never guaranteed and silence filled the rooms. Her father worked deep underground as a coal miner, day after day, breathing dust that slowly destroyed his lungs. Everyone in town knew what that meant. Black lung didn't arrive suddenly. It crept in, quietly. Just like fear did in their home. Money was tight, hunger was normal, and childhood ended early. Then, when Crystal was still very young, her father passed away. No warnings, no long goodbyes, just a hole in the family that never closed. From that moment on, the house changed. Her mother worked non-stop. The older kids became caretakers, and Crystal learned something dangerous very early in life. Don't complain, don't cry, don't be loud, stay quiet. Music became the only place she felt safe. She sang softly, never forcing her voice, never asking for attention, and without realizing it, that softness became her shield. But here's the part no one talks about. She wasn't just growing up poor, she was growing up invisible, and that invisibility would follow her straight into fame. Because coming next, she wouldn't just lose her childhood, she would lose her identity. And it gets worse. The moment Crystal Gayle stepped into music, she wasn't seen as Crystal. She was seen as Loretta Lynn's sister. Every introduction sounded the same. Every article led with the same line. Every room already had expectations waiting for her, and that comparison never left. Loretta was loud, fearless, blunt, a force. Crystal was the opposite. Quiet, soft-spoken, reserved. And in an industry that rewarded big personalities, softness looked like weakness. Record executives didn't ask her who she was. They told her who she should be. Sound like Loretta. Sing like Loretta. Dress like Loretta. Even her name was taken from her. Brenda Gayle Webb was erased, rebranded, renamed Crystal Gayle. A new name, but still not a new identity. Every song she recorded was judged against her sister's success. Every performance came with whispers. She's good, but not Loretta. She's talented, but not strong enough. She's just riding her sister's shadow, and slowly that shadow became suffocating. She started questioning her own voice, her own worth, her own place in music. Imagine walking on stage, knowing the crowd already decided who you are. Not because of your talent, but because of your last name. So Crystal did what she learned as a child. She stayed quiet. She smiled. She endured. But inside, something was breaking. Because hiding behind grace for too long comes with a price. And what almost happened next nearly ended everything before it truly began. But listen to this. It gets even darker. From the outside, it looked like things were working. She had a record deal, studio time, a growing name. But behind closed doors, Crystal was quietly falling apart. The label kept pushing her into a box she didn't fit in. They wanted power. They wanted grit. They wanted another Loretta. But Crystal's voice wasn't built to fight. It was built to feel. Every recording session became a test. Not of talent, but of comparison. Producers whispered, executives hesitated, and reviews landed like knives. Too soft. Not country enough. Not strong enough. Those words followed her home. She started doubting everything. Her voice, her instincts, her future. There were nights she sat alone, asking herself a dangerous question. Do I even belong here? That doubt turned heavy. Because fame is loud, but insecurity is louder. And while the world thought she was rising, Crystal felt invisible again. Just like childhood. Just like after her father was gone. She smiled in public, she nodded in meetings, but inside, she was shrinking. Then came the moment that almost broke her completely. Her early songs failed to connect. Radio didn't care. The industry started losing patience, and once that happens, The clock starts ticking. Because in Nashville, silence means one thing: you're replaceable. Crystal stood at a crossroads: change who she was or disappear. And what she chose next would either save her career or quietly erase her forever. And this is where everything changes. Crystal Gayle was running out of time. The label was losing faith, radio wasn't responding, and the comparisons never stopped. So she made a move no one expected. She walked away. From the label. From the pressure. From the version of herself they tried to force into existence. For a quiet woman, this was a loud decision, because leaving meant starting over. And starting over meant risking everything. That's when she met a producer who listened instead of correcting. He didn't ask her to be louder. He didn't ask her to be tougher. He asked one simple question: what if your softness is the point? That question changed everything. For the first time, Crystal wasn't told to fight her voice. She was told to trust it. No forcing notes, no copying anyone, no pretending, just honesty. Her sound slowed down, opened up, breathed, and something magical happened. The pain she had swallowed for years started coming out naturally. Heartbreak sounded gentle. Loneliness sounded beautiful. Silence finally had a voice. Then one song landed in her hands. It wasn't written for her. It wasn't meant for her. But the moment she sang it, everyone felt it. The studio went quiet. No notes, no criticism, just stillness. Because they knew this was different. And when that song hit the world, nothing about her life would ever be the same again. But fame has a cost. And what success took from her next, no one ever saw coming. And listen closely. This is where the double life truly begins. When the song was released, everything changed overnight. The radio couldn't stop playing it. The charts climbed fast. And suddenly, Crystal Gayle was everywhere. The soft voice they once doubted became her signature. The gentleness they criticized became her power. Crowds filled arenas. TV shows called nonstop. Awards followed. From the outside, it looked perfect. But here's what most people never understood. Success didn't free her, it trapped her. Because now she had an image to protect. The calm woman, the graceful star, the one with no scandals, no mess, no chaos. So she learned to split her life in two. On stage, she smiled. She sang heartbreak like poetry. She looked untouchable. Off stage, she disappeared. She kept her marriage quiet, her pain private, her fears locked away. While other stars burned fast and loud, Crystal chose silence. Not because she had nothing to say, but because she had too much to lose. Every interview was controlled, every appearance polished, every emotion filtered. The industry loved that. Fans trusted that. But holding everything in comes with a cost. Because while the world saw a woman who had it all, she was still carrying the same loneliness she learned as a child. Only now it had better lighting. And here's the part that changes everything. At the peak of her fame, when most artists chase more, Crystal started pulling away. From touring, from attention, from the spotlight itself. People thought it was choice. But the truth was deeper. And what she sacrificed next will completely change how you see her story. And trust me, this part is heavier than anyone realized. At the height of her success, Crystal Gayle did the unthinkable. She stepped back. While others chased bigger tours, louder stages, and more headlines, she chose distance. People were confused. Why would Crystal Gayle slow down when everything was working? The truth was simple and painful. Fame didn't heal her. It reminded her of everything she was still carrying. The pressure, the silence, the constant need to be perfect. She had spent her whole life being strong by staying quiet. But that strength was exhausting. So she chose something radical. Family over fame, privacy over applause, peace over momentum. She protected her marriage from the spotlight. She raised her children away from cameras. She turned down opportunities people would kill for. Not because she couldn't do more, but because she knew what more would cost. And then came the loss that reopened every old wound. Her sister, her guide, her shadow. When Loretta was gone, Crystal didn't explain her grief. She disappeared into it. No dramatic statements, no public breakdowns, just Silence. Again. And that's the part people misunderstood. They thought she faded. But she didn't. She survived. She lived the second half of her life the opposite way she lived the first. Quietly. On her own terms. And now, decades later, people are finally realizing something. That calm wasn't emptiness, it was protection. And the so-called double life wasn't deception, it was survival. And once you understand that, the ending of her story hits different. For years, people said Crystal Gayle lived a double life, but that was never the truth. She wasn't hiding scandals. She wasn't living a lie. She was protecting herself from an industry that tried to reshape her, from comparisons that never stopped, from a world that confused loudness with strength. Her softness wasn't weakness, it was survival. Every quiet decision, every step away from fame, every moment she chose privacy over applause, that was her taking control. So the next time you hear her voice, that calm, that restraint, that gentleness, remember this, it wasn't empty. It was full of everything she never said out loud. Now I want to know what you think. Do you see her story differently now? Was the double life really a secret or a shield? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more stories like this, the ones hiding beneath fame, subscribe. Because some truths don't scream, they whisper.